Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. It's 8:30, I think. So let's keep the voice down a bit, I guess. Right, just before I carry on with what I'm going to talk about, just want to just briefly mention about the Georgia Guidestones again. So like I said, I get all my information of this kind of stuff, off of Daniel from Logic Before Authority, and that's exactly what I did. I went straight to him to get my answers, and he came up with the best, well, the only plausible answer, because the proof is there of the lightning strike, or a strike coming down to hit the stone, the pillar, and exploded it. Now, I've been listening to other channels and they're all putting out bullshit, complete bullshit. Even Tim Osman has got it completely wrong, saying, it's the same thing. I've gone right off of that guy, man, because he just goes on like he's got all the answers to everything. Like I said before, I like his stuff to do with the world news and current events. That's where I draw the line with that guy, because now he's putting out bullshit, saying that it wasn't a lightning strike or it wasn't a DEW, but the footage clearly shows that. So Tim, you're talking bullshit, complete bullshit. I hope you do watch this. You're talking bullshit, mate. He said it could not have been. It was definitely not a lightning strike, and it was definitely not a DEW. This is Tim Osman. What a fucking idiot that guy is, man. Like I said, I don't follow him for science. I just don't. Stick to your current news and world events. That's all you need to be sticking with, Tim Osman, because you don't know shit about science. You really don't. Nothing about science. I've reevaluated by the way I look at that guy now when it comes to science. Well, I've just unsubscribed from him. I'm cutting myself off from the fucking guy, because he goes on like he's got all the answers, and he hasn't got the answers at all. With science, I'm talking about. Stick with your current events and world news. That's all you need to be sticking with, Tim, because you're no good with science, buddy. No good with science whatsoever. You haven't got a fucking clue, and I'm going to get comebacks for that. But you know what? I don't care, man, because someone told me a while back that he's probably a shield. And do you know what? I'm starting to believe it. He's going against everything to do with science, everything. No matter what you guys talk about regarding science out there, he's going against it. He's working for the other side. He has to be working for the other side. He has to be. So I cut myself off from him completely. Right, let me get back to what I'm actually talking about here. I mean, the point was that Tim says he's got all the answers with the Georgia Guidestones, and he's got it completely wrong. Completely wrong. We have the video footage showing either the lightning strike coming down or a DEW, showing that. It's even got the purple light as it strikes. Do you know what I mean? Right, anyway, moving on from that, the reason I mentioned about the Georgia Guidestones and the lightning strike is basically all I'm mentioning, that it really is about the channel Logic Before Authority. Because anything to do, like I said before the other day, anything regarding plasma, electricity, anything to do with all these lines, DWs, orbs, plasma, that's the guy to go and see, because he's on point. Daniel from Logic Before Authority is on point every single time. He's a truth channel. He's very, very smart. Very smart. I see things regarding science, and I know what to look for and stuff like that. But this guy's on another level. He really is. This guy sees things that not even I'm seeing. And I'm quite embarrassed to even say that, really, because I'm very, very observant when it comes to things. But this guy, he's on another level. He really is. So appreciative of his channel. Like I said, I've been following him, like I said the other day, I've been following him for a couple of years now. And I'm impressed with everything he's doing up until this present day. You know, I followed him for, well, I followed him for a couple of years. I've just gone over one of his other videos, which I would love to mirror, but I'm not going to do that because that's how I lost my last channel. But I'm mirroring someone's video, even though I mentioned their name, their channel, dropped links in the description, gave them full credit for everything, I still got a strike for doing that. So yeah, I won't be doing that anymore. 90% of people out there are absolutely fine with that as long as you mention their name and their channel and drop the link in the description. You give them full credit, they're absolutely fine. But that one guy, CC, won't have none of it. I think there was some sort of outside influences, to be quite honest there, but I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, so I'm not going to be mirroring Daniel's work, but I will leave a link in the description for what I'm talking about now. The video I just watched is very, very informative. It carries on with my research with CERN, you know, because I've been working on CERN myself for a couple of years, backwards and forwards trying to work out what CERN is, rather. And I'm 100% satisfied, like I said before, that CERN is opening up portals, what they originally said. So that's what CERN is doing. Originally, that is what they said originally, you know. And yes, they're opening portals, most definitely. Right, so now anyway, I've just watched a video, a recent video of Daniel on Logic Before Authority, and the guy just blows my mind every time. I don't normally big up these sort of, I big up people's channels, I just don't, because I don't want outside influences. But this is one outside influence that is absolutely amazing and is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Anyway, I've just watched this latest video, one of his latest videos regarding portals. He only briefly mentioned about CERN, which I'll talk about in a second. But he done this on a very wide spectrum of the subject he was talking about on portals. So I'll get some stuff down here, just off of his channel, or off the actual video. I mean, just mind blown again, you know, just absolutely mind blown. I'm absolutely lost for words of what he's come up with. And like I said, it fits, for me, it fits perfectly with CERN. It really does, absolutely 100% fits with CERN. Right, so all depictions that we do see, you look at all of the ancient texts, go far back as what you want, go way back. With depiction texts from the ancient times up into the present times, and everything being used today by the authorities and the governments and advertisement. It all comes into the same thing, onto the same point. And what it is, it's about how the entities or spirits or spirits, entities, other dimensional beings, how they travel into this dimension. And Daniel's just come up with something which is 100%. So I'm just blown away by it. Like I say, I'd love to mirror this video, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave the link in the description because I'm not going to be pissing this guy off. I obviously pissed off the last guy, and that's how I lost my channel. But like I said, I'm not going to dwell on that. Just have to be more careful with what I'm doing. Right, so I'm just going to talk about it because I'm not going to mirror it. I'll leave the link in the description. Right, so every spirit entity that goes from the other dimension, like I said before, I think it's only one dimension. We have our physical and light dimension here, but on other dimensions, I think it's another dimension, there's only one dimension on the other dimension. So apart from this dimension, I believe we've only got one other dimension. And all these, everything, entities, spirits, deities, they all come in portals through this way. Right, so like I was saying, if you go back all over all ancient texts, going back as far as you want, and they all show depictions of angels and deities in bubbles, all in bubbles, right? So angels and deities are in bubbles surrounded by light, obviously electricity, because we all know how spirits and that travel anyway through electricity. If you look at like, you know, say psychics or people that are contacting the dead, you know, proper ones, not the scammers, I mean the proper ones out there, how do they reach these entities or communicate through these entities? Is through electricity. But the electricity all comes in bubbles, so everything is in a bubble. So every angel or deity is always depicted in a bubble of electricity, a plasma orb or orb, as we'll say plasma. Now I've been working on plasma for like, you know, what, 3 years now, about 3 years. Always been backwards and forwards with plasma. But I've always stated about, you know, plasma entities and beings, dimensional beings are all travelling through plasma, which is higher forms of electricity, high powered electricity. This seems to be the way that we can contact the dimensional beings, is through electricity. So all angels and deities are depicted in these bubbles of electricity, orbs. We all know about this part, obviously, but we didn't know, or I personally didn't know, how much of these have actually been depicted. Even going through to Jesus and God, entities all come in bubbles of light. Go back to, you know, like children's fairy tales and stuff like that with Tinkerbell and fairies. They're all in bubbles. They all transcend in bubbles, bubbles of light, of electricity, of plasma. Now, although I knew about this part of it, I didn't know how much all this stuff has actually been depicted through today, from today, or to this present time, going back as far as you want. Like I say, ancient texts. Go and check them out, people. Daniel's done it. I'll say I'm going to leave in the description, a link in the description for this video. Absolutely blown away by it. The Terminator films, all the Terminator films that have been made, all show the transcendence from the one dimension into this dimension of the transcendence in a electricity bubble, orb. Watch the films, watch the clips, or just watch, like I said, this video that Daniel's done from Logic Before Authority. It's the transcendence, so the transcendence is done in bubbles. Now, also, if you look at Shiva from CERN, look at Shiva. What is Shiva dancing in, or showing the pose of Shiva? What is she in? She's in a bubble. Look at it, a circle. It's a bubble of electricity, of plasma. The transcendence from that to this, from the dimension, from that another dimension, from that dimension into this dimension. All the Terminator films that I just said all show the same thing. All films, when I say all films, I mean like Paramount Pictures, Universal Pictures and Walt Disney Pictures, all depict that circle, the same circle of the transcendence from the other dimension. It's all, so what they're doing, they're showing the bubble. Also the world, our world. The mainstream says it's a ball. What's it actually depicting? It's depicting the same thing, like the angels and deities. It's not. It's actually depicting the circle, which is just basically the ball of a bubble. The bubble is a bubble of electricity light. Our world is exactly the same. It's shown that way as well. It's all shown the same. It's everywhere. Daniel's been showing it in the video. Watch the video. He showed it all. They're everywhere. Everything is depicted in a bubble. From the Earth, from Paramount Pictures to fantasy, from children's programs of fantasy from back in the days, all the old films, angels and deities, ancient texts, they're all depicted in the bubbles. So this helps me with CERN. And the next talk will be about CERN, because I need to do a lot more research now on this. Now I've got this help of watching Daniel from Logic Before Authority showing this. He's just basically put the icing on the cake for research on this, and anybody else that is interested in this kind of research, absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away by it, really am. It's like I said, you know, I always go to Daniel for this kind of stuff, and this is why I go to Daniel for this stuff, for Logic Before Authority, because he's on point. He's so on point. These spirals as well that we're seeing in the atmosphere in the night sky, you know, we've seen them over the last sort of year or so. Spirals where the ether's being open and the spiral is coming through. It's basically opening the portal, sorry, opening up the ether, like I said before with CERN and that, they're opening up the ether. So when you see these spirals in the night sky, the atmosphere is basically, it's the transcendence of dimensions. So they're breaking into that ether through there. Like I said before, slicing a door in the ether, opening up the ether. And like I said, the ether is not tangible unless it's been shown to be tangible. And when we see the spirals and the doorways being open, so to speak, through the ether, the spirals also get created, showing the opening of the ether, the doorway in the ether. It's transcendence. This is the transcendence. This is how the transcendence is done from the dimension, from that dimension into this physical dimension. And like I said before, we are not just a physical dimension, we are a light dimension as well. We are both. But we can only assume on the other dimension it's just light. We all talk about just light. What if the other dimension isn't light? What if you have to do the transcendence in light to go over it into a physical realm, another physical realm through this? So that made me think, now it makes me want to think again about, is the other dimension just light? Maybe it's physical, but the transcendence has to be done this way through bubbles of light, electricity of light, to transcend into the other dimension or the other realm. Now I know everybody, and me included up until this point, has said no, other dimensions are just light. But are they just light? Maybe it's because we all say that it's light because it has to work on the transcendence this way. So maybe the other dimension, once you get into the other dimensions, once you've done the transcendence, through these bubbles of light into the next reality or dimension, it could be physical. But you have to do it through the light of plasma or electricity in these bubbles to get into the other dimension. Puts a whole new meaning on time travel, doesn't it? Is the other dimension physical? But we can only see the light part of it. When we open up the ether, we can only see the light part of it. But once you get through that doorway into that dimension, however it happens, well, through the bubbles, obviously, of electricity and plasma, that maybe we actually move on to another physical realm. But it has to be done through light of transcendence. Is there anything else I wanted to say on this? I think that's it. It's only a short talk because I need to do a hell of a lot more research now Because of what Daniel has done is completely opened my eyes on a different way of looking of other dimension, or the other dimension or other dimensions, but I still believe it's only one dimension. Just mind blown, just absolutely mind blown. Check it all out, guys and girls. Check out, I'm going to leave the link in the description for Daniel's channel. Please watch the channel, please watch the video, I mean please watch his channel, but please watch the latest video, or one of his latest videos, a couple down. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and it is just put me in 100 miles an hour forward of my research on CERN. I've now got another door I can walk through now. Just wish it was me who would have came up with that. Daniel, excellent. Logic for Authority, please check out the channel. Links in the description showing what I'm talking about here. Absolutely amazing. The guy is amazing. And he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. Even though he is on 93,000 subscribers, and very much so, he should be. The guy is awesome. I've always liked him. And he's always on point with this kind of research. Thank you very much, guys.